Thank you, Dad. Rachel, thank you. You're a tough act to follow. I wish you'd have put me ahead of her and Brian. Good grief. Brian Slayton, your next state representative. Don't forget that. And good morning and welcome, my liberty-loving Texans who actually know why we have come here today. Because the principles of liberty that have been fought and bled for in war after war, big and small, is slowly slipping away from us. In the political spectrum, you have on the left, that was recognized by our founding fathers, a government of great security. That's a large government that promises to take care of you, to feed you, to clothe you, to give you what you need. You just need to do what they tell you to do. And on the other end of the spectrum is a government that's founded in the principle of individual liberty, freedom, the right to do what you want to do. And the two have been at war ever since our Constitution was founded. Hamilton and Jefferson both recognized this. They wrote about it in Federalist 1 and 2. They said we struck a balance between the size of a government that's there to protect us. Those on the left will want a government that wants to provide free stuff. The government on the right wants to protect individual liberties. And we're sliding from the protection of individual liberties that our founding fathers gave us to the left. We are in a war. We're in a spiritual war. If you haven't noticed lately, right is now wrong is now right, up is now down is now up. Nothing makes sense anymore. That's because we have people that are strongly trying to move us to the left, and we have to fight that. I've been fighting that since I got down there. I'll tell you one little story. When I got to Austin, I discovered there was a Bible in my Senate desk. And in that Bible was a place for each senator that occupied that seat. And I am humbled and blessed to be your senator doing that. But you're their place to write a Bible verse. And so I was tempted to write my favorite one at that time. And I decided to wait till the end of the session. And so day after day, as I did my studies, I kept note of verses that I thought were applicable. And that last week, I started to narrow it down, and I got down to 2. And it was a struggle, but I finally decided on what I felt was most appropriate to write. And it was Romans 8:28. God calls all things to happen for the good for those who love him. That seemed appropriate. But as I was putting the Bible away and closing the door, I had this voice, and I feel it was God speaking to me, saying, write the second one. And so I did. I opened it up, and I wrote Ecclesiastes 10:2. Ecclesiastes 10:2. The heart of the righteous leans to the right, the heart of the wicked leans to the left. And it turns out that God made it real clear in the Bible where he stands, because that's only one of 16 places that he refers to where he is. He says he puts the sheep on the right and the goats on the left. And in business, in free markets, what did he tell Peter? When Peter failed in his business that night, fishing, Jesus told him from the shore, lower your net on the right side of the boat. And he did so. And when he left us, where did he say we would find him? Sitting at the right hand of God. Folks, we cannot let the left usurp our God-given rights to liberty. And let me explain to you the way Khrushchev explained how that is done. I'm going to tell you a little story. It's not a pretty story. It's not even a story intended to make you feel good. It's to help you understand where you are. And I think you will wince and grimace a little bit as I talk about how Khrushchev was selling a group of farmers in the Soviet Union as the communists were taking over and spreading it throughout, how communism worked. And as he talked, he reached down and he picked up a chicken. And he held the chicken in his arm really tight. And he proceeded to explain, the government will provide you with food. The government will take care of you and clothe you. But he was plucking the feathers out of the chicken as he was doing it, a few at a time and then a handful at a time. The chicken is screaming, chicken's hollering, it's bleeding. He's pulling more feathers out, but he says that the government will provide you housing, it'll provide you free education, it'll provide you free stuff. And he pulled all the feathers out of the chicken, and that chicken's just going bonkers, bleeding. And he sets the chicken on the ground, and he goes over to a feed bucket, picks up a handful of grain, walks over to the chicken and drops a few grains in front of it, takes a step back, drops a few more grains in front of it, and he proceeds to walk all the way across the barnyard with that chicken following him right behind him. He says, folks, that's the way it works. Just give them a little, treat them really bad, and then give them a little something they'll think is really good. Well, that's what's happening to us, folks, a little bit at a time. Our liberties are being robbed, being moved to the left. As Brian mentioned, with what we have done now that we are in a monarchy, basically, with businesses being shut down, people being told they're non-essential, I think that is probably one of the most degrading things you could tell a working person, that what you do is unimportant, it's non-essential. And families have gone wanting, and now our liberties are further being eroded, where we're now going to be required to wear masks. And I'll tell you, all of this is being done without the legislature being addressed or asked at all once about it. So as Rachel said, the solution to this problem is within you. What you will do about it. We are still a people of the people, by the people, and for the people. What we have is just not enough people that take an understanding that you are the government. It is with you that things are decided. And as long as you sit idly in apathy and let it happen, it will only get worse. So what we need to support those like myself who believe in liberty, like Brian Slayton, who will be working in the House to restore liberty for us here, is for everyone to wake up, to stand up, to speak up, and to act up in a responsible way to make sure that what is being done is protecting our liberties. We need to start by showing up at the polls and bringing the friends with us, because if you just get up every morning and look in that mirror and say, if it is to be, it is up to me, because this is my country, and I don't want to be remembered as a generation that left the country worse than the country we inherited from those that went before us and shed their blood and are shedding it today so that we can be here in freedom. Let us not hand it off